What's up, guys? It is a beautiful Southern California day, and like many of you, I'm stuck at home, and I have nothing to do because of the coronavirus quarantine. So it got me thinking, what are some DIY things that I can do while I'm stuck at home and have a lot of time to kill to make my car faster? But with the economy in shambles, a lot of people can't afford the super expensive go-fast bits that you would normally find on race cars to make them faster. What are some cheap ways that you can make your car faster while you're stuck at home during the quarantine? And that's what the topic of today's video is going to be. The top 5 DIY things that you can do to make your car faster while you're stuck at home in quarantine. Now, before I get into this video, I want to catch you guys up with what has happened since my last video, and a lot has happened. Since my last video, my 2014 Scion FRS track build, the engine gave out and blew up at a track day. Oh shit. And since then, I've been working on what might be the greatest resurrection in over 2,000 years. So if you guys want to find out more about what I'm doing to resurrect my track build and make it even better and even faster, stay till the end of this video. But for now, let's get into how you can make your car faster for $20 or less while you're stuck in quarantine. Now, the first way that you can make your car faster for cheap is pretty simple, and that's weight reduction. Now, weight reduction can be done as simply as removing maybe the passenger seat or some of the interior trim, or removing the stereo or any excess metal or bits that you can find laying around your car. Anything that doesn't really improve its performance and is maybe more geared towards comfort or luxury or any of that stuff, you can remove that and decrease the overall weight of your car, making it faster. Now, that may be a pretty simple way to make your car faster, but it does have a very large effect. Not only does it increase your straight line speed, but it also makes your car better at cornering and just overall faster in every way. Now, the next way to make your car faster for $20 or less is a bit more creative than the last, but this one does require that you have a splitter already on your car. The second way to make your car faster is to seal the space in between your front bumper or your front lip and your front splitter. Now, the reason this makes your car faster is because it not only increases the downforce by creating more area for the air to have to travel upwards when it passes over your splitter and your front bumper, but it also decreases the amount of air traveling under your car and creating drag. Now, there are 2 simple ways to do this. The first way is to buy adhesive foam from Amazon or eBay and seal that to the bottom of your front lip or your front bumper. If your front bumper or your front lip gets very close to touching the splitter but doesn't exactly make contact, you can use a squishy foam to put it in between, and when you put your front bumper or your front lip on top of the splitter, the foam will compress and seal that space in between the splitter or the splitter and the bumper or lip. Now, if you don't have a front lip or a front bumper that gets very close to touching the splitter, there's another solution that you can use. For this solution, you can head down to your local Home Depot or Lowe's and buy what's called Vigoro NoDig Edging. This is essentially a gardening tool that you can use to separate, for example, an area between grass and dirt, but it also can be very effective in making your front bumper more aerodynamic. So essentially what you do is you take this NoDig edging, and if you look at it, it's a flat piece of rubber, and then on the bottom of the rubber, there's a 90-degree angle every once in a while with a space for a screw. So what you do is you put this around your front bumper, and then you drill holes in your front bumper and put either screws or rivets in between it to seal it around your front bumper. Now you've basically made your own DIY rubber front lip, which will allow you to seal the space in between your front splitter and your front bumper and make your car more aerodynamic. Now, the third way to make your car faster for cheap is through aluminum sheets. I actually have started playing around with these and fabricating my own ways to make my car faster, and it's become a pretty fun hobby of mine. So I've used these aluminum sheets that you could buy from Home Depot or Lowe's to make ducting and to also seal some of the areas on my front bumper to make it more aerodynamic. So in the photo right here, you'll see one thing that I did which can make your front bumper more aerodynamic. In the Scion FRS and Super BRZ, there are fake ducts on the side of the bumper. Now, these fake ducts also have a space for fog lights, and all of this together, while it may increase the lights and stuff on your car, it does make your car less aerodynamic due to the strange patterns that the air has to flow over when passing over your front bumper. Now, you can go to the Home Depot or Lowe's and buy a sheet of flexible and very malleable aluminum, and then use this to replace those fake ducts and make your front bumper more aerodynamic. This isn't just limited to the Subaru BRZ and Scion FRS. You can do this essentially on any car that has any of these fake ducts or any of these areas which are not smooth on your front bumper or anywhere else around your car. Now, what you do is you cut out the aluminum in the shape of whatever you're trying to fill, and then you glue that onto the area, and essentially when the air passes over it, now it's smoother, easier for the air to pass over, and makes your car more aerodynamic. Like I previously mentioned, you can also use this to make ducting inside your car, which Yes, it makes it a little bit faster, sure, but it also will increase the cooling abilities of your car and keep your car cool and cooler on the track. One other thing you can do with this aluminum is you can also use this to make your own front lip, similar to what I was talking about in the last one. If for some reason you don't like the look of the rubber of the NoDig edging that I said in the second way to make your car faster, you can use these aluminum sheets and make your own front lip to seal the spacing between your front splitter and your front bumper using aluminum. Now, the fourth way to make your car faster for cheap is to buy an infrared heat gun. Now, essentially what this gun does is it tells you the temperature of anything that you pointed at. When you get off the track and your car is all still hot, you're going to use this gun and point it at your tire. Now, if this is the space of the tire right here, what you're going to do is you're going to point this infrared gun to the side, to the middle, and then to the other side of the tire, and take temperatures at each point. Now, this will allow you to determine if your tire is too hot on one side or too hot in the middle, and adjust your tire pressure or your camber accordingly. For example, if your car is hotter on the inside and not so hot on the outside of the tire, then this may mean that you have to decrease your camber slightly to make sure that your car is getting an even contact patch with the ground. Or if your car is hotter in the center and not as hot on the sides, this may mean that your tire pressure is too high, which causes the center of your tire to have more contact with the road than the outsides, which would mean that you would decrease your tire pressure. So using this infrared heat gun will allow you to have more data regarding the heat disbursement on your tire and adjust your camber and your tire pressure accordingly. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the #1 way to make you faster in basically all respects when you're talking to either autocross or time attack, and that is track time. The more time that you spend on the track, the more seat time that you have, essentially the faster you will be, the faster your car will be, because you'll be a better driver. One tool that you can use to make yourself a better driver while on the track is your phone. Some of you may know this, but there are many apps that you can download which will keep track of your lap times while you're on the track. So many track organizers have the option of getting a responder that will tell you your track times and your fastest lap time when you get off the track. However, that's only so useful because you only know your time once you get off the track. Having an onboard lap timer like the ones you can download onto your phone allows you to constantly look over and see how you're doing on the track and determine if different lines or different braking zones or different anything on the track is improving or decreasing your lap times, allowing you to make adjustments while you're on the track to find that fastest lap time. So those are the 5 best ways to make your car faster for $20 or less. Now, as promised, let's get into my plans for my resurrection of the 2014 Scion FRS track car. As I mentioned earlier, my engine gave out, so the #1 thing we have to address is a new engine. For the new engine for this car, I went with a 2.1 liter D-Sport built FA20 motor. So I'm sticking with the FA20 platform, but I'm increasing the displacement slightly and going with forged internals and all that to keep the motor more reliable. I'll talk more about that D-Sport motor when I actually get it, and I'll give you guys a rundown on the internals and all that, but just know that that is my plan for the motor. The way that I'm going to manage the motor is I'm ditching the stock ECU and going with the Motec M150 ECU. But both the ECU and the engine are not actually the thing I'm most excited for. The thing I'm most excited for is the oiling system. The reason that my engine gave out is because I had a very big issue with blow-by. My car would have very excessive blow-by, and it led to the engine having oil starvation issues, which eventually led to its demise. So to resolve that issue and make sure I don't have to deal with that again, I went with a dry sump oiling system built by G-Speed. For those of you who are unaware, a dry sump oiling system essentially uses an external pump to pump oil through an external reservoir and constantly make sure that the engine is not having any oil starvation issues. The reason this decreases blow-by is because it's a closed system, so any blow-by passes into the system again and is not bled out of the system, like for example into a catch can or an air oil separator. In addition to that, I'm also getting some new aero bits and a 6-point cage, so there is going to be a lot of changes on the car, and I'm very excited to share them all with you. So if you guys are interested in following that build, make sure you guys subscribe and follow the channel. Also follow me on Instagram at narrowman98. I'll be posting a lot there. I'll be posting a lot here once I get the car and I get the motor, and I'm very excited to share it with you. Thank you guys very much, and have a good day.